Emma had always been a light sleeper, but lately her sleep had been fitful and disturbed. Every night, she would awaken to the sound of a tapping on her bedroom window. At first, she had tried to ignore it, thinking it was just a tree branch or some other harmless noise. But as the nights went on, the tapping became more persistent and insistent. It was as if something or someone was trying to get her attention. Emma tried to tell herself it was just her imagination, but she couldn't shake the feeling of unease that settled in her stomach every time she heard the tapping. Finally, she decided to investigate. She crept out of bed and tiptoed over to the window, peering through the curtains to see what was causing the noise. At first, all she could see was darkness, but as her eyes adjusted, she made out a figure standing outside her window. It was tall and shadowy, with long, spindly fingers that tapped against the glass. Emma's heart raced as she realized that she was not alone in her bedroom. The figure didn't move, but it seemed to be watching her, waiting for her to react. Emma tried to scream, but her voice caught in her throat. She stumbled backward, tripping over her own feet and falling to the ground. When she looked up again, the figure was gone. Emma lay there in the darkness, shaking and terrified, wondering if it had all been a dream. But the tapping on her window continued every night, and Emma knew that she was not imagining things. She tried to tell her family and friends, but no one believed her. They all thought she was just being paranoid, and they told her to stop making things up. Emma began to feel isolated and alone, like she was the only one who knew the truth. She started to research the history of her house, hoping to find some clue as to what was going on. She discovered that her house had once been a funeral home, and that there had been a number of unexplained deaths and disappearances associated with it. As Emma delved deeper into the history of her house, she began to have terrifying nightmares. In them, the figure outside her window had entered her bedroom and was standing over her, watching her sleep. She could feel its cold breath on her face and its long fingers tracing patterns on her skin. One night, Emma woke up to find the figure standing at the foot of her bed. It was even taller and more menacing than she had remembered, and its eyes glowed with an otherworldly light. Emma tried to scream, but no sound came out. She was frozen with fear. The figure reached out its long fingers and touched her forehead, sending a jolt of electricity through her body. Emma felt like she was being pulled out of her own skin, like she was no longer in control of her own body. And then, just as suddenly as it had appeared, the figure was gone. Emma lay there in her bed, gasping for air, feeling like she had just narrowly escaped something unspeakable. After that night, Emma knew that she had to leave her house. She packed a bag and fled, leaving everything behind. She never spoke of the midnight visitor again, but she could never forget the feeling of its cold fingers on her skin or the glow of its eyes in the darkness.